The continued uncertainty regarding what is going to happen with the Northern Ireland Protocol still goes on, and as much noise as is being made about it, mostly has come from the UK government saying, this isn't working, none of this is working, what are you doing, EU? This isn't working. And yet, time and time again, we have shown on this channel examples, experts, businesses talking multiple times that in reality, the current Northern Ireland Protocol is working. Are there problems to the protocol? Yes, of course there are. You may remember when we had the conversation with David Heggie on Max's channel on the Sunday brunch that time. Even he said it as a trade expert. Yeah, there are problems, but these problems aren't insurmountable. If the UK government was willing to see the Northern Ireland Protocol really work and implement parts of it, that would be the first step. They would actually have to be fully implement it. That would be the first step. So that would be the first thing to have to do. The next thing they would have to do is sit down with the EU, and there are operations for that. There are ways to do that built into the Northern Ireland Protocol for them to negotiate and sort these out. But the problems that are being negotiated aren't like big, massive things. They're really small, technical, tiny, small things, but they aren't insurmountable. They just need to sit down and actually talk through them. And of course, Liz Truss has come out very much through this Tory leadership contest because, let's face it, she is going to win. She has come out and said, my plan is to create this dual regulatory system, to have this blue lane and red lane. And look, this doesn't solve the problem. This just makes it just even more complicated. And one of the things we've often had to add was that time and time again, the DUP has made it very clear. They do not want a border in the Irish Sea at all. And they are more than willing to cause crisis after crisis until they get what they want. So this proposal by Liz Truss does not solve this problem. Maybe it does for a while, but it does not solve the problem of the DUP going ham and just causing problem after problem and crisis after crisis until they get what they want, which is basically the eradication of the border in the Irish Sea and a border established between the north of Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, which in itself is going to cause huge problems. So today we're going to go over a statement made by the Brexit Working Group, which is a group of, if you think of it like the CBI, the Institute of Directors, the Federation of Small Businesses, hospitality stuff, all these groups have come together to form a Brexit working group to come together and tell the government, hey, you need to sit down and actually sort this problem through. So before we go through their statement, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people for helping to support the channel. And of course, there is the YouTube thank you button down below as well. And of course, there's the Pony Club as well you can sign up to as well. So this statement appeared today, yesterday, in fact, in the Independent, and the article titled, "The dual regulatory system would risk the reputation of Northern Ireland exporters, businesses warn." So we'll get down to the statement down here. So the statement read, with inflation rising to a 40-year high, Northern Ireland businesses and the Brexit Working Group are calling on the EU and the UK to redouble their efforts to resolve their differences on the Ireland/Northern Ireland Protocol and find an agreement based on compromise, a group said in the statement. And that is what it is going to come down to. That is what we've heard multiple times. Both sides willing to sit down and compromise. The thing is, we've seen, as we've said before at the beginning, multiple times where the EU has been more than willing to sit down and negotiate these types of things, but it is the UK that has been the one who has been inflexible, who has refused to go to the negotiating table and just, as we have seen with Liz Truss, just completely rip up the Northern Ireland Protocol bill, a bill that just a couple of months ago she was saying was absolutely amazing and was going to get Brexit done, and this solves all these problems. So anyway, their statement continues. For too long, the group said, this issue has been dominated by inflexibility and intransigence, but Northern Ireland is now facing into the most difficult of winters. It is our view that the scale of this current economic challenge is such that it demands a swift revolution to this impasse. Our communities amongst the least well placed to manage the cost of living crisis, with households seeing the largest fall in discretionary spending of any UK in the region this year. As a priority, any agreed outcome must protect the GB/Northern Ireland consumer-facing supply chains, try to tackle the disproportionate burden placed on goods that are now not at risk of any of entering the EU single market. So again, this all comes down to, yes, there are problems in the Northern Ireland Protocol, but they are not insurmountable. The UK government has to be willing to sit down on this. And one of the other things they talk about in a moment is the SPS, or the cyto and the cythanatory checks that they want try to get rid of, but that's not going to happen. The EU is going to insist on these checks because obviously these would be entering from outside, the EU. So they are going to very much demand, these checks be taken in place. And the UK is not going to be able to bend on this. Northern Ireland is not going to be able to bend on this either. Those checks are very much going to be enforced. The EU is the larger market, and I'm sorry, they get to make the rules on this. That's how these trade negotiations work. This is what we've been warning about for quite some time. The UK does not hold all the cards in this conversation. So anyway, they continue and say, this will require much more ambition than we have seen from currently to date on the EU on the issues of the SPS, the cytosanitary and cytosanitary checks, and on parcels in particular. We have also been clear with the UK government that if it proceeds unilaterally with the Northern Ireland and Protocol Bill, particularly with the creation of an all-encompassing dual regulatory regime, it will create a myriad of reputational, legal, and commercial risks for many of our businesses. So as you can see, they are worried more so by the fact that the UK is going to take unilateral action over this, and this could create huge problems for Northern Ireland businesses. But if you look at the numbers, many Northern Ireland businesses have actually switched away from the GB Northern Ireland supply routes to actually the more island facing and the EU supply routes. And they are benefiting more from being in that single market, benefiting from those supply routes than they are from the GB Northern Ireland supply routes. Anyway, they continued saying Northern Ireland has been a top-notch performing region in exporting goods since the EU exit, but that is now being put at risk, and that is because they are still in the single market and customs union. Again, I wish they'd sort of recognized that fact. I wish they'd said that in that statement, but can't say that. They can't say that, at least not yet. At least. The need for an urgent resolution is rapidly apparent, but it will become much more acute as we move throughout the second half of this year. It remains our firm belief that though the agreement with ambition and flexibility and compromise from both sides, a balance between upholding the much needed access to the GB market and protecting the EU single market is achievable. And it is achievable, but they need to be able to sit down and negotiate on this. But it is the UK side that has shown unilaterally that it is not interested in maintaining those checks on that border, meaning that there are problems with the Northern Ireland Protocol that come not from the EU side, but the UK side in particular, because they are not fully implementing the protocol. And are there problems with the protocol? Yes, there are problems with the protocol. Even the EU admits there are problems with the protocol, but it is not insurmountable that cannot be sorted by the two sides sitting down and doing this. And of course, they finish off, the EU and the UK acting together have a responsibility to deliver this. And they are absolutely right. They do have a responsibility to deliver this. And the EU is fulfilling its bargain on that part. The problem is, it is the UK that is not fulfilling its bargain on this part. And this is going to cause huge, huge problems in this. And is Liz Truss going to solve this with her protocol bill? Absolutely not. This will just create more different types of problems, maybe even potentially sparking a trade war. And then you've got implications of, well, what happens to Northern Ireland if this, trade war kicks off? How does all that work? What happens here? Ultimately, the US will step in as well and will heavily condemn the UK for this. Needs to say, it is the UK government at fault here. They are the ones not doing this. They are the one being intransigent. They are the ones being inflexible. And this is once again a Brexit problem that we warned about that was tagged as just that's Project Fear. And this crisis continues to rumble on and on and on and on, as it has since way back to 2016, since they went, so you've Brexited now. What do you do about Northern Ireland? And of course, they had no answer then, and they still have no answer now. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.